Alright, so in this tutorial I'm gonna go over UV mapping, and I UV mapped these two mushrooms. They're the mushrooms that I showed in the previous tutorial on modeling, but they've been tweaked a little bit more to get nicer shapes. So I'm pretty happy with this shape, how it curves down. And this one is I guess the baby version, the more younger one. This is the more mature version. I guess as it grows, it changes. So I kind of messed around with the width, not the spans in terms of the placement, just basically the width. Top part, I messed around with the spans a bit, kind of give it more plump, more of this rounded curvature. So yeah, I like it. Alright, so the UVs, I'm gonna bring it over. Again, the UV map is, make sure you're under modeling, go to UV editor. Alright, UV editor. I got it. I'm gonna dock it. Come on. Alright. So I docked it here. Alright. Press 5. I don't like this color one, which is here. Or here. Yeah. This one right there. This shows you the texture, the seams, where the seams begin and end. I don't need that for now. And this here is the texture tiling map, which I'm gonna put on the Brightspace server. Basically, what I did was I got the models, I assigned the Lambert one. That's the default shader, Lambert 1. Click on it. I click on this here. Right, that one. And basically, you go to your Lambert 1. Make sure it's assigned. So for example, you grab it, go over here, right click, assign. For the Lambert 1, here's my property editor. Same thing as the attribute editor. Under the color, you click over there. Image name. Click on the folder. And when you download it, put in your source images folder. UV texture grid. And that's how you do it. Lambert, color. Click on the checkerboard. Click on the folder. UV texture grid. There you go. Then, so you can see it, you press 6. I recommend using the Lambert when you do the testing of the UVs, because there's times where the AI standard surface shader, it sometimes doesn't show, sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it does, I'm not sure. The Lambert will always show. Alright, to show the checkerboard, it's this thing right there. Okay. And the name of this texture is called UV texture grid. I'm gonna put on bright space. So I'll grab it. So what did I do? Go to faces. And the first thing I did was, for example, right. I selected all these faces. Only those faces. I have it here already laid out, so I just grabbed some of it for now to save time. But since you'll be starting from scratch, you're gonna just grab the faces carefully. Make sure you don't grab any of the top surfaces, because for example, you could accidentally grab the other side. So you just carefully just select the faces. Right now it's in the smooth proxy, or you could grab it either in smooth proxy mode or the one mode. Okay, why did I choose this? Well, the undersurface, if I project it, even though it has these curvature going down like that, it doesn't matter, because under the UV, like the UV editor, I put it here, and the planner with the option box, I put it here. Okay, and the UV cylindrical option box, I put it over here. Ignore this, you don't need that. Anyway, back to what I was saying. This is a planner mapping. I want to face it flat on the Y. That's the Y. Up and down. You gotta keep this checked on, checked on. Just look at this panel, follow it exactly, and you're good. Alright. Press 6. And it's nearly perfect. Even over here is fine. What else did I do? I had pressed optimize. Ooh, that didn't work. Press unfold. Right, it was unfold. Don't ask me why, what it does. All I know is that it just makes it look better. So you just do the unfold, and there you have it. And then the projection, width and height, the proportions, you could just make it, I don't know, 25. You're good. I'm gonna move this out of the way for now. So that's what I did. Next, I'm gonna do the stock. So I'm gonna carefully select this part, press 5. Alright, make sure you don't grab anything else on the top or anywhere else. Then I'm just gonna carefully click, 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 click. Press 1. Zoom in, click, 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 click. Ooh, click, click. Press 4. So you can see if there's anything that I selected that I shouldn't. Press 5, 3. I'm going to apply a cylindrical mapping, so I wrap it around like a pipe, which is this one, cylindrical mapping, or over here, cylindrical mapping. Click on it. Alright, I guess I didn't need the option box. Alright, so press 6 for texture. And if you look here, this is how it looks like. Looks kind of stretched out. this doesn't look good. If you see this, it needs work on. It needs working. Under the projection, horizontal sweep, that's how much it wraps. Right now it's set to half, 180. I'm going to set to 360. Projection height, I'm going to set to 25, which is what the scaling was for this one right here. It was 25 and 25. I'm assuming it's going to be 25 for the height. Looks almost good. A little tall. This is huge. Oh, it was down here, right? I mapped this one. Yeah, it was this one. Underside, not the top side. Anyway, so I'm just looking at it. The numbers and this, they should, the numbers and these numbers, they should correlate in terms of their proportions. That's what they're used for. And placement. Alright. Now, let me grab this. Press 5. Press right click and hold face mode. Just grab a whole bunch of faces here. Turn it off. Here's the faces. Press 5. So I want to grab the projection that I just made, but I don't want to go and start grabbing everything, and I got overlapping stuff. So how do you select it quickly? Well, you go Control, right click to UV shell. Again, that's Control, right click to UV shell. Once you just select even one face, you do that procedure, it'll select the whole shell. We'll move it over. Right click, UV mode. I'm going to select the UVs. I'm going to just eyeball to see how I can make this less stretched. The more you pull, the more smaller it gets. So maybe I'm going to pull down. Okay, that stretches more. Maybe I'll pull wider. That pulls it in more, squeezes it. Maybe I'll squeeze in this way. Before I was doing this, it's making smaller. Now I'm going to squeeze in. Again, my whole point is to match these numbers to these numbers as best as I can. Sometimes it's hard to tell, so you can try to look inside either front or side. Well, maybe that's not good. Don't look at these on the top. We have to compare it to the bottom. Alright, so literally gotta look at it upside down. Alright, so this one's still smaller than this one. See what I gotta do. I'm pulling it in. See what I'm doing? So now it looks almost like they could match. It's kind of stretching. So if I make it more squat, or maybe more taller, or maybe more this way. So you gotta experiment to see which way will start to pull so that it matches proportionally. Now it's kind of tall, so maybe if I do some of that, pull up. Alright. So I'm looking at this, and I'm looking at that. Maybe I'll squeeze it this way. There we go. It's a little too big, so maybe I'll just make it bigger to make it smaller. The way UV works is that it's usually the opposite. If it's too big, you gotta scale it smaller. Or if it's too small, you gotta scale it bigger. Anyway, I'm gonna undo that and try again. I wanna make this smaller, so I'm gonna squeeze out, which is the opposite. You'll figure out. You just gotta experiment with it and just be patient. This part is huge. W 3. Yank on it, just on this edge, so I get a bit more of a normal, less of this, maybe right around here. Sometimes you're gonna have some stretching, but it's fine. Alright, that looks, I could work with that. Right click, object mode. So you want to be aware of proportions. This part is huge, but it's fine. Next, there's some stretching going on there. Maybe I can somehow fix that. Attribute editor. It's under smooth mesh. Open subdivision controls. Under again, smooth mesh. Open subdiv controls. I set it to none. Okay. Well, that doesn't look good. Maybe preserve edges and corners. Okay. Alright, I guess it's preserve edges and corners. Alright, now I'm going to do the top, which is this guy right here. So you have to make pretend, no, that's not it, it's this guy. Yeah, 5. So basically you just grab all the faces and then you do a projection. And to me it doesn't matter that it's overlapping down, that I'm doing a flat, you know, bird's eye view projection, even though this thing technically curves in. You see it works, even though it kind of overlaps the projection. Basically what I'm saying, this is the planar projection, set to Y, click, project. This is what's happening. The red part means that it's overlapping, that the face or the UV is overlapping on top of each other, like on top, see? Which is here, but it's fine, because if I go in here, I go unfold, look what that did, I made it nice. The red warning is gone, and I can press optimize, but mostly just unfold. Right, so I remember the projection width and height was set to 25, so that everything is set up proportionally correct for the most part. Right, so even this and this is proportionally correct. Press 6. Good. Now all of this has to fit within the UV grid, the 1-to-1 that I discussed. So right click UV, make sure you have your object selected, right click UV, select all of it, press R, all of it you have to select, scale it in, align it, maybe I'll align this and this, like that, being mindful of the 1-to-1 ratio. I'm just going to do something like that, grab this, put it somewhere like here. Alright, so that's the grid. just clicked on that just so I can see a little bit better. It's so bright. That here is the outline. This is the color. This is not too sure. I just need this and this and this. I'm gonna grab all of it, press R, I'm gonna scale it in. I need to align it so it's 1 to 1. Here, 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 1 to 1. I'm gonna grab that, just that amount of faces. Press Control right click to UV shell. Control right click. Grab those faces. I'm gonna align it. Just aligned, aligned. See the 1 aligned, 0 aligned. Let me put it right around here. I'm gonna grab all of it. Press R. Scale it up a bit more. Try to get the most out of it as I can. Grab these carefully. Put it here. Grab these carefully. Squeeze it in so it's within the 1 to 1 ratio. And that's as close as I can get, probably. Maybe up to here. But you have to notice how I'm grabbing it as a set. I am not grabbing it one shell at a time. You have to grab it as a set. Alright. Grabbing all of that. Control right click. Control right click to UV shell. Boom. So that's how you set up those UVs. This is strange. What is this? Why is that doing that? So I right click UV. Control right click to UV shell. I gotta see what this is. Optimize. Unfold. And 1, 3. That shouldn't be happening. I'll select it again. Right here, see? This is looking like that because of this. This is that. This does that. Oh look. Oh wait, it's still there. Alright. So I have it selected. I'm going to go back to my attribute editor. I'm going to tinker around with my smooth mesh. It's subsetting, open subdiv controls, sharp edges. I'm looking here. Sharp edges and corners. Preserve edges and corners, or maybe set to none. Alright, that doesn't seem to help. It just maintains that hard shell. Sharp edges. Put it back to sharp edges and corners. UV boundary. Preserve edges and corners. Preserve edges. Oh look, preserve edges. It took away that little dent. So I guess, yeah, it's a preserve edges. You could have it sharp edges and then preserve edges and sharp edges and preserve edges. That should be the right combo. Yeah. Even though low poly looks kind of skewy, press 3, smooths it out very nicely. Alright, so that's how I did that. So overview, you grab the stock. Okay, this is not set up, so you personally won't be able to grab it so easily. I can grab it easily because I made it ahead of time, and I'm just grabbing it here for the sake of speed. But for you, you won't have this because you didn't make it. I'm just using it to grab it, so I can show you the faces that you're going to be using. So don't expect this to be here. You have to literally go in and just grab it, you know, one by one, or through the partially through the orthographic views, like selecting it like this. See that? Go into perspective, press 5, and then start selecting like that, because that's what I did. There are other ways to get quicker selections. I'm not going to show that because, you know, it's already sharing a lot of information, and I don't want to overwhelm students with more and more and more shortcuts. Just get them confused. For now, this is just good practice to just manually selecting and knowing what you're selecting and why you're selecting them. Anyway, so like I said, you grab the faces, you do the cylindrical like that, and you do it as a cylindrical 360, which will be over here like I showed before, and you're good. And for these guys right here, I did a planar mapping where you select the faces like just enough, but I'm not doing it more, just enough where it goes over, starts to cross over, but I'm not grabbing the underneath because that is just too much. So there's some things you can get away with and some things you cannot. One thing you cannot get away with is grabbing more than you should. See, always check to see what you have selected. Press 4, press 5, look around. I also deleted these the end caps. See those end caps? I deleted those. Those are not needed. And like I mentioned, I grabbed it. I went and did a planar projection, which I said is over here. It's option box. You need an option box so you can set the projection aim where it's projecting from. Click, always have those clicked, and I had clicked apply, and that's how I got that. Same thing for this, the undersurface. You know, you grab exactly what you need up to here, press 5, or press this to press that. So yeah, I don't see the rainbow colors. It's kind of distracting, can't see too well. So you select the faces, look around what you have, double check, make sure you didn't select things that you don't need, because if you do and you do a UV map, you have to redo it. Like I mentioned, I grabbed all of it. I did another planar projection from the Y. Click these on, hit apply, and that's how I got that, which I already showed you, but I just want to review again in case. Alright, and make sure they all fit inside of it. Why aren't these guys fitting? Grab it, control right click to UV shell, hit E as in Edward, maybe rotate it a bit like that. Boom. Click on that. You can grab these guys, control right click to UV shell. I'll rotate it. I don't know what I did, but I'm just gonna make it nice. Make it fit. Make sure they don't overlap each other. Make sure they don't overlap. One of the main rules is do not have them do stuff like this. Don't do stuff like that. You're going to cause a disaster for your texture painting. So that's what you do. Press 6, press 3 for smooth. Get this out of my way. Grab that. Same process. Same exact process. You do your planar projection. Don't do things like a spherical projection. You'll be tempted to do like this. No, not that, but spherical, because it's almost spherical. But do not do spherical. It's gonna look like crap. Just do plain and simple projection planar, where it goes all the way up to here, but do not go over like that. So if I grab this one, it's the exact same mapping. Right here, right click, face. So that's this one. See? See? All of this was just a planar mapping. All of this was a cylindrical mapping. But also being mindful of the proportions. See? That's another major one. Including this. I deselected that by holding Control and left click drag to deselect it. And here's this one. Up to here. See my seam line? The white line. And also the white line. That's this one. And over here. So that's how I got that. So remember, you won't be able to easily select these. You know, see like how I'm selecting it? You won't be, because you won't have these maps. Like I mentioned before, I'm doing it because for the sake of selecting it quickly. Alright, so that's how you do the UV map for the mushrooms. And like I mentioned, these are literally the same thing. I just push and pulled it so that they look different. The exact same faces right here. Press 1, 176. Press 1. This one has less. Why is that? Oh yeah, I deleted faces here and here. But even with that, 176, 168. Huh, strange. They're supposed to be the exact same thing. Whatever. All I know is they are. They look good. Anyway, so that's UV mapping. Okay, bye.